sir, would you just introduce yourself to the jury and say your full name, spelling your last name?
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Dornberg, which is spelled Dornburg.
Now, Mr. Dornberg, what is your relationship to Zeta Lambda Nu fraternity?
I'm a member of the fraternity. This year I'm the president of Zeta Lambda Nu, and last year I was the treasurer.
Now, did you have any role in the party that ultimately Kay Denning lost her life at?
Yeah, a big one. I did a lot of the planning, and it was actually my idea to have a beach party.
Describe for the jury what the planning process for that party was like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wanted to be a fun party, and so we came up with a theme that helps out. We went with sort of a beach party and also 80s theme, and so the next thing we had to do is figure out, okay, what can we put out to let people know the theme and make sure they're having fun. So I think we decided on, we had a pool. So we made a pool out of some sandbags and a tarp.
Let me pause you right there, Mr. Dornberg. When you say you put out a pool, what do you mean? Was it an inflatable pool or did you build a pool? Describe that process.
Oh yeah, I would describe it as, it was a makeshift pool because we took some sandbags and built the boundary, and then we put a tarp in there to make it waterproof, and then we filled it with water.
Was that all that was in the pool?
We had some plastic islands that you kind of use as a raft. Those were also in there.
Whose idea was it to bring a lifeguard chair to the party?
I think that was my idea.
Do you remember planning for that lifeguard chair?
I do. I think at some point I made a drawing of it, and we had to build it. So, yeah.
Would you recognize that drawing?
Yes.
Your Honor, let the record reflect I'm showing opposing counsel exhibit number 5.
Thank you.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? You may. Mr. Dornberg, realizing it's a bit awkward to hold up, do you recognize that?
This is it. This is the drawing.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the drawing that you made in advance of the Zeta Lambda Nu luau party?
Objection, Your Honor. I apologize if this isn't timely, but I would ask that this drawing not be published to the jury until it's entered into evidence, if that's opposing counsel's intent.
Counsel entered into evidence first before publishing to the jury.
Will do. Mr. Dornberg, would you please close up that picture? I apologize. We don't want the jury to see it until it's in evidence formally. Now, when did you make that drawing?
Within a few days before the party.
Has that drawing been changed since you originally made it?
No, looks like the same drawing.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense offers exhibit number 5 as evidence.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
So entered.
Your Honor, may I publish to the jury at this time?
You may.
Would you hand that to me, Mr. Dornberg? Now, Mr. Dornberg, just so the jury can understand from this drawing, would you describe some of the writing that you put on here and what you were thinking at the time you made it?
Definitely. Sort of going from the bottom up. The lifeguard chair was made out of wood. The legs are made out of wood. I thought we should put a few sandbags around the base to sort of weigh down the feet, keep it from tipping over. So you see that labeled on there. We put some electric lights, like Christmas lights, on there to make things festive. And at one point I was thinking about putting some kind of warning sign on there because it was about 12 feet tall, as you can see labeled on there. But then I realized that everyone can see the height that the chair is and knows to be careful accordingly.
Now, at the time that you were planning to bring this chair to the fraternity house, did it ever occur to you that someone might climb to the top of this chair and jump off the top?
No.
Now, moving forward then to the day of the party, did the chair look any different than in this drawing you made?
Not as far as I can remember.
When did you first first see Kay Denning on that day?
I first saw Kay Denning when she and another person were walking by the fraternity house, and it was a couple hours before the party, which means it was about 6 o'clock.
Did you interact with her and her friend?
I did. I was sitting on the chair actually when they walked by, kind of having a good time, setting up for the party. I said something to them through a megaphone that I had, another prop for the party, to the effect of, "Hey, you guys should come to our party later."
At that time, when you invited Kay to the party, did you know how old she was?
No.
Did you know if she was in good standing with the school?
No? I didn't really know. I did not know who she was at that point. I hadn't met her before.
Did you have any way of communicating with Miss Denning between that time you saw her and later that evening?
Yes. After I talked to her at the time I mentioned around 6 p.m. when we talked for a minute, and when it was done, I asked for her phone number, and she put her number into my phone. And actually the other guy who was with her also gave me his number.
Why did you exchange numbers with her?
Just common sense. I was hoping they could come to the party later. I wanted them to have a way to get in touch with me.
Now, when was the next time that you saw Kay Denning that night?
It was a little bit after 1:30 a.m.
And where were you?
I was inside the fraternity house in my room when I got a text from her, and that saying that she was outside. And so after I got that, I went downstairs and then I saw her.
When you got downstairs, what did Miss Denning look like?
She looked like she had been at a party. She actually had a cup with her or something, but otherwise nothing that made an impression on me.
Would you recognize that cup if you saw it?
Yes.
Your Honor, let the record reflect I'm showing opposing counsel exhibit number 10. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Mr. Dornberg, I've just handed to you what one could describe as a plastic cup. Do you recognize it?
Yes, this is the one that she had with her.
How can you tell?
Well, it's got some graphics on it, some Disney characters, and it's got a blue handle, so that was all true of the one she was carrying.
Your Honor, at this time the defense offers the exhibit into evidence.
No objections.
So admitted.
Was this the kind of cup you were using at the fraternities party?
Now, we were using disposable white solo cups.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm now handing you what's already in evidence as exhibit number 13. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do. These are the cups that we were using for the party.
What sort of alcohol were you serving at your party?
We're definitely serving beer. That's pretty standard for these. There were a couple kegs of beer there, and probably something else, but it's been a while, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
Could you tell what color the beverage was in Miss Denning's cup?
Yeah, I did see that, actually. She had something red in her cup that could have been wine. I'm not sure. It was red, though.
Did you at any time on the night of the party see Kay Denning fill up a drink at the fraternity house?
No.
What happened after you first came down from your bedroom and met back up with Miss Denning?
Yeah, so I saw her outside. We talked a little, and I suggested that we go to the after party because this party was basically winding down. And so after I said that to her, I went back inside to change clothes. And then that's when I started hearing the screaming coming from outside.
When you say you heard screaming, can you describe for the jury what it sounded like?
It was a person I knew. It was Courtney Perez, and it was frantic. It sounded like something was wrong outside.
How did you react to hearing that?
I went outside. I ran downstairs and went outside to see what's going on.
And what did you discover when you made it back downstairs?
I saw Courtney in the water and right next to Kay, who was also in the water, but Kay was just sort of floating there.
When you say Kay was floating, was she conscious?
She looked
I'll rephrase, Your Honor. Were Kay's eyes open?
I couldn't really see her eyes, but she looked, she wasn't moving.
What happened after you first saw Kay in the water not moving?
I went down there too, and we got, between myself and Courtney, we got her out of the water, and then I could tell that she appeared to be unconscious, and we called 911.
Having just interacted with Miss Denning, how did you feel in that moment when you saw her in the water?
I was very worried. I didn't know what was going on. Clearly she was somehow hurt, and so I was just thinking about trying to get some help, and I was just worried that, what was going on with her.
Now, between the time that you first met Miss Denning and when you saw Miss Denning in the water at the base of this chair, did it ever occur to you that Miss Denning might climb up to the top of this chair and jump off of it?
No. That wouldn't have made sense to me.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.